Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. And did you know the average insurance agent makes $52,000 per year and over 90% give up in their first year? The top 1% doing anything with their license are making 5 to 10 times as much selling the exact same policies. And it's not luck, it's leverage for these people earning anywhere between $150,000 and $500,000 per year. The secret is that they are following a system to generate fresh hot leads, book appointments, and close policies like clockwork. So I've put together a no-cost blueprint for you that shows you the system that you can add $5,000 to $15,000 in additional monthly recurring income in under 90 days that you can access for free. Just go to writemorepolicies.com/blueprint or click the link in the description. Today's guest is Gerry Ruffino. He's the president of the life insurance division for Empower Insurance Group, driven to help agents and clients nationwide. Gerry, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
Yeah, thank you first and foremost for allowing us to be on here and chatting with you. But man, overall for me, it's just understanding that we have to put clients first, right? Everybody's so worried about how much am I going to get paid? Where do I get paid? How do I get paid? And what product do I sell? I see most agents going into the product and the sales process rather than figuring out the why, right? So we need to get better at solving the problem rather than just pushing a product down their throat.
And explain more on that. Why do you think agents do that? Who taught them this more importantly? Why is that the
Yeah.
industry norm?
Yeah, in my experience, I've been with a couple different groups, and I've definitely seen agents just be taught to immediately sell one company, one product, doesn't matter what the problem is, right? Just figure out, doesn't even matter what their health is, right? Just kind of write the product, see what the little MIB return will be, and then you get paid a day or two later. So everybody's so focused on the fake Instagram reels that we see from a lot of folks out there that are quote unquote rich and
Yeah.
not really focusing on what we're doing here, right? We could sell a lot of great things, right? I mean, if you could sell one thing, you could sell a million things, right? If you want to get into a product-based business, go sell something else that doesn't impact people's livelihood and hardships later on down the line when you sold them a product that's not going to pay out. So I just think people are taught incorrectly, and unfortunately, that's happening a lot more and more. So we have to kind of take the industry back. We have to take the reins back and continue to teach people to do things the right way. Not only the agent, right? Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Um, but a lack of knowledge after a long period of time is not an excuse.
There's a lot of ways we can take this, but I think the most valuable for the agent is it's always the details that get you, right? I remember a story of Brian Tracy. He says we were up here and we needed to go. He had a picture of a map that him and his friends drew. They wanted to set out on a trip to Africa. And they just put at the top of the map where they were, and they just drew a straight line straight down to Africa. And they didn't realize it was 8,000 miles. And there was this brown band known as the Sahara Desert. And they were like, well, we'll just skip over the brown part and get straight down to Africa.
Yeah.
And they were big picture people, right? So it's just the point he made with that is just it's always the details that get you. They didn't realize why none of their friends were backpacking to Africa and that it was 8,000 miles. So it took them a year to get over there. What, what are some of the details that are not really publicly shared? Because we do live in this world where unfortunately social media has created all these false comparisons of people who, let's just be real, we are very selective with what we share about other people. You see a 60-second snapshot of what someone wants you to see. And so just because someone looks rich taking pictures in front of someone else's car, most of them are not rich. Most of them make just enough to get by and keep pretending they live a life that they don't. So, what are some of the details they should be focused on that aren't so commonly known that get them into a lot of trouble?
Yeah, so the understanding of what the advanced business is. All right. So, there are a lot of products on there that you can make as earned, right? Or earn, which are great, right? That's real residual business. That's understanding the health business, Medicare, life insurance, supplement, all that. But a lot of us this is the number one post you'll see out there, right? And if you don't believe me, if you're an insurance agent, go out to your Instagram right now, well, after this podcast, and just look at a couple people. They brag about how much money they just made in 23 minutes, right? By the way, there's nothing to brag about if you talk to a client for 23 minutes because you're probably not building enough rapport or you're not good enough at client retention to focus on making sure that that stays on the books. Two, nobody makes that much money in 23 minutes. Okay. You get advanced that money. Most folks don't understand the advanced business, right? So if you get advanced 75% of your money from your annual premium, right? That doesn't mean that that's what you got paid and good luck. That means that you have to continue to devote your energy, your time, your effort into that client every month, some way, somehow. You have to continue to bring value to those folks, right? It's not just about dialing a lead, calling it and being done and saying, great. I mean, Mason, how many agents do you know in this industry that call a client, never talk to them again?
Unfortunately, most of them, my friend.
It's a problem, right? So, the details I focus on, especially with our team, right, at Empower, is making sure that we have a great client retention process. You have to have a client retention process and you have to utilize all the tools out there, right? One of the things I do for all my clients, we do a lot of telesales. One of the things I do for all my clients is I add them on my social media, not my business one, not my whatever one, my only one, right? And I want them to see me posting kids with me and my kid and my wife and my life, because that's what makes me relatable. I much rather be sitting in their kitchen table, right? Kind of, knee to knee, belly to belly, but that's not what we do right now, right? I'm able to have clients in Hawaii, Alaska, Florida, Georgia, I mean everywhere, being based out of Texas. So um,
What part of Texas are you in?
I'm in Austin, Texas.
So I'm about an hour away from you. So it's
There we
perfect.
go. There
We'll
we'll
have
have to meet
to
up.
go get some pizza sometime.
That's right. Anytime, or barbecue or whatever, right? We got it all over here. So,
I'm down for
dude,
it.
there's so many details that people don't focus on, right? I can't tell you when I first started in this industry, like, hey, just dial the leads, offer them this one carrier, and you'll be fine. And then I realized, like, hey, if I'm gonna be a professional in this industry and not just another kind of employee mindset, is I got to become a student of the game, right? I think about it like sports, right? Like the best athletes out there don't just freaking rely on their skill all day. Now you can do that for a while, but if you want to get to the big leagues, you got to watch film. You got to understand the ins and out of your craft and your industry, right? So that's what we did, man. We called the night school. So after we were done with our dials, we were literally learning everything about our niche, right? Product training. Like everybody's like, "Oh, you don't need to know all the products. You don't need to know every detail of every product, but you should at least know what you're telling people, right?" Final expense don't products don't really have living benefits, so you can't continue to tell people that stuff, right? So yeah, all those little details matter, but you have to take ownership in your business. You can't just blame other folks after a period, right?
Yeah, the advanced part was interesting. It's almost like your client is coming into your restaurant and the insurance carrier is the owner of the restaurant and the agent is the server. And they say, hey, we're going to tip you to provide the customer good service. So the customer, over the next, it's a 12-month meal and you have to keep refilling their drink, not just once and wonder why they're parched and cancel their policy. And what's funny is most people, I've never seen anyone else do what I do when it goes to a restaurant. You tip the waiter before. And if you don't know what a tip is, it's an acronym for to ensure promptness. So the carrier advances you to provide prompt service for the customers. That way they don't cancel and you don't have to give back the dollar that you were just given. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the self-deprecating cycle that most agents are in. And then they think something's wrong with me and it just trickles downstream and it ruins the whole industry. So that's fantastic. You know, Gerry, something I know you're something like that you're really passionate about is this whole idea that this is a beautiful industry that lacks proper education, proper expectation. Let's focus on doing what is right for the agent and the client. Win-win scenarios, ecological, and lack of knowledge isn't an excuse. So talk more about that.
Yeah, man. So, I like I said, we can sell a lot of things in this world. Okay. Like sales is not that hard, right? I mean, you can go out there and sell big ticket items and all these like software deals and all you could sell anything and make money. Okay. Um, I view the especially the life insurance business as we talk about it all the time. Here's a funny thing, Mason. How many insurance agents are selling products that they don't personally own? Most. And
Most
the
of them.
minute and the minute that they leave the industry, they cancel their product. So how truthful were they when they're told people how important this was to them, right? They weren't.
Not very.
So if you're an agent and you're watching this, you got to ask yourself, dude, Am I in it just for the money? Trust me, we all got to make money, right? And I'll be the first one to tell you I've had the opportunity to make a ton of money that I've actually left on the table because I don't ethically align with it, right? I just got off the phone with an agent the other day. Well, he didn't know it was an agent, but he called one of my clients offering, it was a veteran, right? Everybody's doing the veteran niche right now. And people are pronouncing themselves to be, they're literally telling clients that they are working for the VA. Okay. Total misrepresentation. And they're saying, hey, we give you better options than the private market, right? Those are all lies. Like,
It's illegal, is what it
well,
is.
that is true, right? But there's no consequences for a lot of them, right? Let me tell you when the knowledge part and all this stuff becomes really important about putting people first. First death claim you get, right? The first death claim you get, the client passes away a year later, and maybe for some reason it doesn't get paid out. Maybe the client may have told you that they were a smoker, but you're like, hey, he can't afford this, but I can put him as a non-smoker, right? And maybe it was just you and the client that knew that. And if your subconscious can live with that, then hey, more power to you, dude. Keep doing whatever you think is right. But I can't work with people like that. So you have to understand that it's not just like, hey, they got approved. It's hey, like at some point, especially within the first 2 years, if this client passes away, right, their family may not be able to go through the hardships that I just told them that they could get by. See, people have forgotten how important your word is. Like your bond, your mark, like what I say, my word is my bond, right? That's my promise to people. Do I make mistakes? Of course. Do we all? Yes. And in the beginning, when you're taught in the industry, you may think you're doing everything right. Just ask around, do your due diligence, right? Um, Knowledge is power, but knowledge without activity is worthless. Okay, so people have to remember that. So we're in a beautiful industry because we do help people when the most difficult time in their life may come. Now we can't take away the pain, but we can help with the financial hardship. So that's a start.
Well, I think it's beautiful because unfortunately people come in here and because mommy and daddy told them uh, selling is bad, they're never going to want to be good at something that they believe the two most important people would look at them and say, wow, you're a salesperson. You must be bad. That's unfortunately the double bind, to speak linguistic terms. That's what people correlate that to. If I sell, I become a bad person. So let me purposefully self-sabotage and get so bad at such a beautiful thing. You really are helping people. If you're just that that $8 thing that you bought, it's not just a lead. That's a Jerry on the other end of the phone. That's a Mason. That's your mom on the other end of the phone raising their hand saying, I need help. And it's a very negative self-admittance for someone to fill out a lead form and say, hey, I'm not all that. I'm not all sugar and spice and everything nice and in between. I'm a human and I would like help with a rather personal problem. And I think that's why we get paid the big bucks is because we solve big problems. So that's absolutely beautiful that you said that. What do you think the fix to this is?
Dude, I think it's more of this, right? I think it's teaching folks and there's a mindset out there where people are like, well, what do I get out of it? Right? I can't tell you how many meetings, one-on-ones, phone calls, text messages, webinar. Like I've gone on where I don't make a penny on this deal just to try to shoot people straight. Okay. There are people out there bragging about how they're selling, 80, $90,000 of IULs, right? And you look at they don't know the difference between annual premium and target premium. Right. So you're not doing that. You're not really selling an IUL. You're selling your bank account and then hoping that, you deal with the chargebacks later. So, you know, I think we have to urge people to just continue to be students of the game, become a real professional. All these folks out there, right? We also, okay, so as an industry, we have to stop praising people that are doing it in a horrible way. All right, we're putting people on a pedestal when they're like their persistency is 55%. I'm sorry, their retention is 55%. Right? Like, come on, like I don't want to see a leaderboard where somebody made, $800,000. I want to see a leaderboard where they say they submitted $800,000, issued whatever amount, and then they kept how much, right?
Yeah.
Don't believe everything you see on social media, and more power to the ones that are doing it well. But I have found some really cool ethical people in the last year in this business. Um, that I would partner with, and that's probably one of the reasons I left where I was to come to where I am today. Just you got to align yourself with people that are going to do things the right way.
I agree. Create an environment around yourself because the environment's the number one predictor of success. If you live in a forest and the forest is on fire, you're probably the environment forces you to get out of that and go to a new environment. So it makes all your decisions for you unconsciously. If you can surround yourself with people like Jerry, myself, or whoever you think is going to keep you accountable, your ass to the fire, tell you when you make mistakes, and care enough to correct you, it's impossible for you to fail. And in my opinion, your persistency should be 100%. If anything less than that, there's nothing to brag about. There's really, outside of someone dying and using the policy, your persistency should be at 100%. Go study sociology, learn stuff outside of the industry. Go pick up some Richard Dawkins or something. All right, read some Dan Kennedy or something. But it requires you to change and learn. I know it's dark, it's damp, and uncomfortable. So this has been really valuable, Jerry. For the agents and agency owners listening who want to learn more about what you do, tell us who's a good fit to work with you and where they can find you at.
Yeah, so listen, we're part of Empower Insurance Group. We're not just a life insurance entity, right? I happen to be the president of the life insurance division. I say that very humbly because we have a lot of room for growth. We will not be one of those people that tell you all these ridiculous numbers, but we will promise to teach you how to do things the right way. We have a very big supplemental group, right? So the importance of understanding cancer, heart, accident, dental, vision, all those great things, right? Life, health insurance, Medicare. We really try to be a one-stop agency. The folks that would be good fits are the ones that want to do this correctly and are willing to put in the work, right? If you're trying to make a quick buck, this is probably not it for you. There's a lot of other ways you can do that. But if you're willing to put in the work, be vulnerable and tell us exactly where you are and where your goals are, where you want to be, we don't admit to saying we know it all. But we have some really cool relationships with a lot of really cool people in the industry where we can point you to get some of the answers that you need if we don't have them for you. So, if you're hungry and you're vulnerable and you're willing to put in the work, dude, this can be a beautiful thing.
And where can they find you at?
Yeah, so listen, you could literally text my cell phone, call my cell phone, 512-992-4584. You can text me at jerry.ruffino@eigbenefits.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, anything. And by the way, the same Instagram and Facebook that you see are the same ones my clients see every day. So I'm pretty easy to find, and always willing to lend a hand that you don't have to come work with us for us to try to at least have a conversation with you and kind of point you in the right direction, man. We're not a great fit for everybody. I'll be the first one to tell you that. It just depends what you're looking for.
Well, that's perfect. We're going to wrap up here. So thanks so much, Jerry, for sharing your insights on kind of the nuances and the expectations agents should have. So for those of you interested in learning more about being vulnerable and being part of an environment that kind of curates your success and hand delivers it on a silver platter, if you're the right fit, if you're willing to put in the work, go message Jerry. All of his details will be in the description down below, or you can text him at the number he gave you. And if you'd like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful insurance agents and agency owners who are doing at least 10K a month in commissions and have unique strategies to share. You can apply at the link down below in the description. And one more time, if you want to stop chasing leads and start booking qualified appointments with people who actually want to buy insurance, grab our free booked and banked blueprint at writemorepolicies.com/blueprint. Until next time, keep building that commission machine.